quick review of the Bontrager 1300 Ion Pro RT and the Flare RT 90 Lumin. I've searched high and low on YouTube for reviews about these two bad boys, but I couldn't find any, so I said to myself I might as well make a review about them, although I'm not really a review guy. But I said, just in case if someone's thinking about purchasing these, it's a hefty purchase, so they can make their minds up before they actually put a lot of money down. So let's get cracking at it. In terms of quality, I would say it's a really good design and a really good feel to it. There's this alloy magnesium sort of thing at the top, plastic, good grade plastic at the bottom. As for the Flare RT, good grade plastic as well. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. You can look at the details in the description at the bottom of this. The water resistant and Bluetooth connectivity and all sorts. What I'm just going to review is what the good sides and the downsides to using these two, and basically my experience that I've had this for a couple, 2 weeks now. But let's concentrate on the downsides to this and what I didn't really like. What I didn't really like about the 1300 Lumin Ion Pro. There's the charge time. I was shocked by how long it actually took. It states on their website anywhere from 7 to 15 hours of charge time, so if you forget that at the last moment and you've got a ride, you're in trouble. Whereas in this one is 2.5 hours, which is reasonable. I was luckily able to get away with 7.5 hours of charge time charging this up with the normal standard USB to micro USB cable that was supplied with it. As for the downside to the Flare RT, I would say they've put an ambient sensor at the top of this. It's supposed to be a feature, whereas it dims the lights down, but it's interfered with the modes on this. I'll emphasize in just a bit about what that is all about. In terms of modes and how long it actually takes, let's see on the box. But before we go to the box, I'd just like to say one more other thing. When I first took this out of the box and I started charging it, well, charging these both, you get a red flashing light. That means it's charging. And 10 minutes in, I took it off just to test something on my bike and see what it was like. For whatever reason, when I came back to charge it, it was a constant red and it wasn't charging up. So I contacted Trek's live customer service on their website and they couldn't figure out. So what I had to do was reset it. And basically what you do is you keep the light on and you hold down the button for 15 seconds, and when it flashes you know that it resets, or it has resetted. And once it was reset, I switched the device off, put the charging cable back in, and voila, it was charging again. So if you run into that problem for each of these devices, that's one of the way around. I spent like hours trying to figure it out. Well, there you go. Yeah, so let's get into the details and see how many modes this actually has. So here we've got the box in front of us stating what the front lights can do, what the rear lights can do, the range 2 kilometers, which is 1.25 miles, the runtime 6 hours, the lumens at 400 lumens, and so on and so forth. As for the rear lights, I've encountered a small little problem, which luckily I've been able to override, which basically I couldn't get these three modes to activate. I'll emphasize in just a moment, but if you want to pause the video and have a look at all the details in here. So I'm going to test these modes out in real life and see what kind of problems I was talking about earlier on about the ambient sensor. But before we do, let's just have a look at the modes. One of the good things about this as well, that there's a safety lock on this, so if you've got any backpack it doesn't accidentally turn on, so a double click will turn it on. That's on high mode, and then you've got medium, low, nighttime flashing. The good thing about nighttime flashing is that it's constantly on, so if you're approaching cars, they have a reference of how fast or slow you're coming, so they don't pull out or decide to pull out in front of you. It's a really good feature. Whereas in the daytime running lights, it turns off and on, and then just hold it down. Yeah, you hold it down and it turns off. You've got a battery indicator, status indicator at the top. Green obviously means good, and then you've got yellow and red indicating half charged and depleted. Now for the flare RT, the bad bit. You just see that I turned it on and it went from daytime flashing mode to nighttime flashing mode, and I just can't get it to be on. See again, so that's daytime and then it goes back into nighttime flashing mode. The reason for that is because they've put an ambient sensor, and what that is supposed to do, say you're riding in a group and you go into a tunnel and it's really dark in there, it automatically dims the lights down so you don't blind the people behind you. But what I don't like about this feature is that, say you're the only one, so you're out on a solo ride and you're the only one and you go into a dark tunnel and there's cars behind you approaching the tunnel at 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, 100 kilometers, whatever. And what they need to see is that there's someone inside the tunnel. So you've got to have daytime running lights as bright as it can to match the ambient light outside the tunnel. And when it goes into nighttime mode, well, the cars aren't going to see you. Luckily, I found a way around that, and that's with the transmitter remote that I purchased with the Bontrager Ion Pro lights. And we'll have a look at that, shall we? And how that can override the problem that I've encountered. So right here I've got the bike under the stairs in the closet to simulate going into a dark tunnel. I've got the light up here, which is going to switch off in a moment. So I've got the lights mounted, front light, rear light mounted, and here is the transmitter remote. And we'll just go over the features of this. So one of the features of this remote, I would say, you can connect up to 7 lights. And the other feature is that, because I'm not really a touch guy, I like to touch sensitive, I don't like touching on screens. That's why I've got a Wahoo element, and I prefer buttons, and that's one of the good reasons. In the rain it really helps out a lot. It's actually a handlebar mount, so you're supposed to mount it here, but just for convenience I thought, I mean, why not put a spacer on and said to myself, yeah, it's next to shifting my gears, might as well have them here. So let's get cracking at it and see what they're like. First off the bat, we'll turn on the lights. So one push to the button, it indicates that there's 2 lights programmed, and the green button in the middle says that it's at full charge. Let's try and replicate going into a tunnel. So we've turned the lights off. It's relatively very dark in here. Just switch these off just so you can see. I've got the, let's turn off the flash. Yeah, so I've got my finger over the flash. You can see it's really dark in here. So this is what it's like if you were to go into a tunnel. And let's turn these on, and it's in daytime running light mode. And let's see if we want to put it back down into nighttime running mode. As you can see, it's telling you what type of mode it is at the bottom. You can see the arrow blinking, and that's gone into an all-day flash right now. Now we're going to go into, let's just turn off the front lights at the moment because this is blinding us. Yep. So now we're into nighttime running mode, and that's what you get if you don't have the remote. As soon as you go into a tunnel, it switches to this. No good, I would say, if you're in the tunnel by yourself and all the cars outside. But if you're in a group ride and you're going into a tunnel, then yeah, this feature is good. And then we've got constant on, as you can see by the arrow down there. Daytime, constant, really bright. And then we've got, lastly, the battery indicator saying it's good charge, and then it's really low, indicating that it's nighttime steady. So those are the 5 modes for the front light, and holding it down switches it off. And if we hold on to the front light, same here, high, well that's high, medium, low, daytime running light, sorry, high, medium, low, daytime flashing, which is constantly on, and then daytime. Hold it down and that's it, it's off. And that's basically it for the Bontrager transmitter remote, connecting these. As you can see, I'm doing this one-handedly, so just so you can see how easy it is actually to take this off. There, simple. So even if you've got something in your hand, say a shopping bag, and you want to go into the shop, or you're coming back from the shop and you just want to put it back on, boom, you're done. And it's very sturdy as well. Just make sure to put it downwards. You don't necessarily want the light into people's faces. You want it down, and then some of the beams coming off onto the cars, so basically people can see you instead of being blind. One more thing I need to stress out is that on YouTube I've seen some people not mounting this mount properly, and what I mean by that is that the light has to be parallel with the road. So if you haven't got this strap on that comes with it, your light is going to be facing downwards onto the wheel, and that's not what you want. That is not what you want. You want it parallel with the road, so it's up and out into the faces of the people behind you, not onto the floor where people can't see. And the proper way to mount it is, as it says in the instructions, you keep this side with the clip to the right side of the bike, on the right hand side, or you can actually see that if you've got it on the wrong way, it will be tilted downwards. They've actually made the tilt in the mold itself to compensate for the tilt of the seat post. So because the seat post is going out this way, they've made it sort of like that to hold the light that way. So if the seat post is like that and you've got the thing on the wrong way, then that's why you're getting some people having the lights facing downwards. And that's just one thing I just wanted to mention. So that's basically it. If you've got any questions, please let me know down in the comments, and hope that helped.